I am going to attempt to explain coherence versus reactivity. How your nervous system's a toroidal field, constantly taking in raw energy, refining it, organizing it around the Calabi-Yau manifold, the center of your toroid. It already exists, it's not something I'm just making up. Get out of here. Or outward and scattered. The Planck length, we're going to use this as the defining measurement. Like anything below this is quantum foam, pure probability. The Calabi-Yau manifold itself, this is the sixth dimensional figure folded around a core. Like that seventh person is the observer. That's you. You can't be quantumly observed. So everything, when you hold coherence, you become immeasurable. You become unpredictable. You become pure love. Coherence equals the energy in, like the fair weather field. You know how you like read a room and you, before you even talk to somebody, you don't like that person, not based because you're like judging them just on appearance. You feel their energy. Like you feel if this person's good, this person's bad, whether they pull you in, you want to be around them, or you get pushed away, you don't want anything to do with them. Altermagnetism. Coherence is when your toroidal field pulls incoming energy toward the central eye. It contracts, refines, and organizes that energy so the entire system stays compact and efficient. If you sit in stillness, life becomes so much easier. It's choosing to react in ego that makes life harder, or, yeah. The F minus N, the inverse Fibonacci, the Fibonacci sequence, that outward spiral, the golden ratio that you find in all the ancient architecture, that is kinetic energy. I'm gonna go into that here shortly, but if you inverse it and you go inward at the start instead, you're showing a reverse spiral, showing energy can go in. It's the same thing with Einstein's equation. If you take E equals mc squared and flip it into mass equals energy over light squared, um, the y time or h times s, that's the stillness and heart sync. The more you sit still, the more time dilates around you. It's the more energy you're holding. You're listening to them. You're not wasting energy thinking, how do I say this, removing yourself from presence. Once you start thinking, you're not really listening anymore to the conversation. You're formulating a rebuttal. You're wasting energy instead of holding their pain, their sorrow, their feelings, their emotions, what even happiness. If you start thinking instead of listening, it removes you and makes you egoic over coherent, reactive over coherent. So you sit in the stillness, energy in, you fully listen. Don't try to judge, don't try to rationalize, don't try to make a point before they're done speaking. It contracts inward, folds neatly to the center of reality. It folds compact, clear, and connected. The answers start flowing to you. The less you think, the more you know. It's a strange concept. And then when you flip the script and you're reactive, you choose to be angry, upset, disdain, contempt. The chakras essentially. Sorry, handwriting's atrocious, but empathy, love, joy, wonder. Those are three bands of frequency essentially, and they sit high in the field. Doing using these ones brings you connection to others. Then you have sadness, fear, disgust, rage, the reactive side, not the coherent side that pushes everybody away. It's the magnetism. It's like the north and south pole. One pulls people in, you want to be close. Their field's tight. You want to be close. You want to listen. You want to learn about them. You just want their presence. Than the people that push because they live in sadness, fear, disgust, and rage. You want to be away from them. You don't want anything to do with them. It's gravity as well. It's a push and pull of an energetic field, the fair weather field, if you will, and probably vastly more than that, I'm sure. But reactivity is the same energy being repelled, pushed outward. This creates chaos, loud, fast, overwhelming, frozen. Um, Time stands still when you're deep, deep, deep in thought because you're using all that energy. Time slows down. So everything begins feeling loud, fast, overwhelming, and frozen. This is reduced stillness, weak heart sync. Field is no longer multiplying the contraction. Everything's falling apart. The energy that's spiraling out is finite. When sonoluminescence occurs at the sperm and egg meeting, all that energy collapses infinitely inside. How do you create something from infinite collapse inward? It's simple. The bioluminescence releases energy. And or yeah, it releases energy. Technically, it's frequency. It's every emotional band, and that frequency is vibration. What is vibration? Vibration's movement. Movement's kinetic energy. That outward spiral of everything you look at falling into that ratio is that kinetic energy. If you look at the folded inward side of it, you have coherence. The folding of paper on the seventh fold, the big pop, right? That's infinite collapse of energy. Where does it go? It released outward. You can't do that when you pull energy in from sonoluminescence. You just get frequency and then it starts rapidly multiplying from the collab. Then you have your math for the basic coherence overreaction, how strong your inward pull versus how strong your reactivity is. If you can sit in the stillness, even if people are yelling at you, you have very high coherence. If you can still sit and listen and pull it in, you'll watch them calm down and stop yelling and perhaps fall into the bands as they rise back up to feeling loved again. But if you're reactive, you're just going to feed it. You're both going to become high R. You're going to distort and destroy. It's your coherence versus theirs, your reactivity versus theirs. That's the toroidal field meshing interaction formula I've come up with. Coupling strength when two toroidal fields interact. High M means harmonious entrainment. Low M means a tug of war between nervous systems for dominance. Then you have the empathetic transmutation. This is how you take all that energy when you sit in stillness, what I'm calling knowledge without thinking, whatever you want to call that, if you want to call it the Akashic records or whatever. It's the living act of staying in high coherence while gently, you okay? Hi. While gently pulling another person's or the collective's I love you reactivity inward and organizing that's your central I. You don't absorb the pain. That's the big difference. If you if you decide to absorb the pain and cry with them, you are experiencing one of those emotional bands, the ego. You're sending energy out. You're not holding it, you're not building it, you're not doing anything with it. You're entering the experience instead of the presence. You take what they say, you hold it, understand it, let it go. You hold the energy of it, not the pain. And by doing that, you live close to reality. Everybody wants to give you things because they just want to feel your presence. They want to feel your love. They want to be around you. They want to give you their energy. When you're in low, scattered, high reactive, nothing makes sense. Everything appears so random, scattered, because you're yelling at everything. You're not really present. Time is slow. You're making so many decisions, though, so rapidly. It's a strange inverse. Then you have the reactive formula for it, and it's pretty much the exact opposite of building with it. You're expelling it all. The twister from Euclidean twister unification to Lorentzian math, Euclidean tight compact geometry to Lorentzian loose buildable until it collapses. Because too much outward, you still have finite. It has nothing to grab onto. It just scatters. That's the switch that decides geometry, your toroidal field, and therefore your entire experienced reality. It occupies in any given moment. It's the velocity or intensity of energy flow between you and the world or between two fields, sees the universal boundary, the speed of light, the point where normal rules break. I'm taking into account that E equals mc squared is matter, egg, sperm, light. Why is it squared? Because the light enters, the sonoluminescence collapses, and releases as light squared. You, the observer, right here. So enter, collapses all the energy from the Bekenstein bound onto the toroidal field, opens it up from the Calabi-Yau manifold, and shoots out all the frequencies of that toroidal field, the infinite probability of that toroidal field's nervous system's decisions from being a lowly, absolutely nothing to the leader of a free world and everything in between, infinite frequencies. Those frequencies are love, empathy, joy, contentment, surprise and awe, sadness and grief, fear and anxiety, disgust, contempt, pure anger and rage. There's a small part of the frequency and a large part of the frequency, and a coherent middle ground. You can fake coherence even when you are an evil person. That's why the governments have control, because they learned how to be coherent through pure evil. But every band exists from its smallest to its highest counterpart, from a little bit sad to you can't contain the grief, from a little bit angry to you're a full nuclear warhead going off in energy. I think that's about it for this one. I think I covered everything that I wanted to in this one. How wonderful! But this little guy is you. That's a you. It's so adorable, folded up when it's an empathetic little, but when it loosens up, people can be terrible. Anyway, this is a TED Talk or something.